What's going on, YouTube?
Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning into our channel.
I'm Ty.
I'm Katie.
We're at
Keep Up Travel, and today we're headed to Sri Lanka. Alright, I'm super excited for this video.
Yes,
it's gonna be
great.
sweet. Yeah, this is a suggestion.
Yes.
So thank you so much. We can't wait to check it out. This is Geography Now Sri Lanka.
Let's pull it up.
And we're gonna learn all about it.
Yeah, I'm excited for this.
Yeah. Now I don't know much about Sri Lanka.
Yeah, neither do I.
Really? Anything.
So this should be all new to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it should be good. If it's your first time coming across our channel, give us a quick subscribe. Greatly appreciate it.
Yes.
Hit the notification bell.
Hit it. Thank you. Thank you.
go.
All right. Here we go.
All right.
Can't wait to see what Barbie has to say.
The Pearl of the Indian Ocean, the Teardrop of India, the Isle of Dharma, Ceylon, Taprobana, Serendip, and Mumudi Chola Mandalaman.
Oh,
To the town,
wow.
It's Lankai. To the Sinhalese, it's the one you probably heard, Sri Lanka. This place has had so many names, and today it goes by the next country up here on Geography Now.
Hey.
It's time to learn geography.
No!
Hey everybody, I'm your host Barb. Get a Geography Now mug and Geography Now shirt at geographynow.com. It's not selling out if it's my brand. Few countries on Earth have such a small size with a massive ancient backstory that predates the invention of paper. And as you guys know, I love having people from the countries in the country episode. Today's guest star is going to be Janelle.
Up in Sri Lanka?
First of all,
Sweet.
what's got going on?
This is actually, so if I were to wear this shirt in white and wear my white sarong, that would have considered the national outfit for Sri Lanka. But I had to spice it up, man, you know.
Clearly,
We matching.
Yeah.
We matching.
All right, Janelle, very quickly, what are some things you think the whole world should know about Sri Lanka?
We have the most prettiest girls on earth. Check. And you know, prettiest guys too. You see this. Hospitality it's at like 308%.
Yes.
And hey, lastly, we are not Indian.
You are not India.
No.
You are not Indians.
Nothing wrong with India though. Hey, I love India. Just letting y'all know.
With that, let's jump into this country that is definitely not India.
All right.
Ooh, new intro for this.
Yeah.
Oh, an ad.
Already.
All right.
We gotta get that premium.
Yeah.
That's the next step.
Ooh, I can't wait. Okay, so what's next? Political geography, right?
Yep. Let's go.
Here we go.
Sri Lanka
Here we
has
are.
quite a bit of going on in the way their land operates and holds together. Oh, and the best part, y'all know, man, we got a city called Kandy. Hey!
Kandy.
Welcome to the Kandy shop.
First of all,
There you go.
Kandy is an island nation located in South Asia, situated in the Indian Ocean, south of the Bay of Bengal, just off the southeast coast of India's Tamil Nadu state. The interesting thing is, the country is almost
Oh,
connected to
wow.
India via the Ramu Setu
Oh,
Bridge.
look at
I
that.
didn't realize
An
that.
incredibly shallow, partially submerged series of sandbanks, shoals, and islands, only about 100 meters wide, that straddles between India's Pamban Island and Sri Lanka's Mannar Island. The space between Pamban and Mannar, known as the Palk Strait, is only about 25 kilometers wide.
Who owns
Due to the
that?
shallow depth, reaching at maximum
Ooh,
10 meters deep.
that's a good
this hinders
question.
all large-scale cargo ships from passing through from the Gulf of Mannar in the south to the Palk Bay in the north. At one point, this shallow channel was reportedly passable on foot until a cyclone in 1480 destroyed what little land was above water.
Oh,
Today, Indian
1480?
trade must either go completely around Sri Lanka, otherwise land or air transport is the only way around. In any case, the capital is Sri
Oh, because it's too small there.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of little tiny islands there.
Oh,
The
Interesting.
wow.
largest metropolitan city of Colombo. Colombo is often mistaken or just default called the capital because it's easier to say, but nope, to be fair, it's Sri Jayawarna Purakote. The country is divided
wow.
into 9 provinces, each with their own little flag, and the 9 provinces are further divided into 25 districts. The country has 5 international airports, and of course the biggest and busiest one is in Colombo, Mandaranaike International Airport. In addition though, the country has 20 waterdromes, or airports for seaplanes, throughout the coasts and interior of the country. They are all operated by Sri Lanka Airlines domestic branch called Sri Lankan Air Taxi, with its hub at Colombo's Kelani River Peliagoda Waterdrome. From there, the port of Colombo is not only the largest port of the country, but also the largest transshipment hub in South Asia. The country has a very extensive rail network that reaches almost every part of the country except the sparsely populated southeast, which also has the Yala National Park that no roads or towns can be built on. The rails have 3 main lines: the Colombo Operating Region lines in the southwest, the Anuradhapura Operating Region lines in the north and northeast, and the Nawala Pitia Operating Region lines in the central highlands. Here you can reach the highest destinations of the country, like the famous city of Kandy.
The literal Kandy kid.
Kandy.
That's for the Westerns. But I'm gonna say like Nura Raj. Kandy's called Nura. So we say Nuaraj.
Oh, and also, Janelle, I heard something about the
Nuaraj.
word hotel. It means something different in Sri Lanka. Explain about that.
It's so funny that you called that. So hotel is it could be a sandwich shop, man.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh yeah, there's a hotel over there.
So if I go to Sri Lanka and ask for a
Really?
hotel, you could point me to a cafe.
Depends on what you're looking for and whom you ask.
You have to be specific.
Yeah.
Now in Sri Lanka, you're going to see a lot of past and present. For example, of course, you have the metropolitan layout of skyscrapers and towers in Colombo or Negombo. But then right in the middle of the city, you'll find statue after statue of
Oh,
Buddha,
wow.
centuries-old
Yeah.
traditional Dago.
That one was huge.
Yeah.
What are they called?
Oh, it's called Bodhi. You know, you're talking about the half dome, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's the
The
Bodhi.
shrine thing, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Bodhia?
Bodhi.
Bodhia. Janelle, thank you for correcting me. Oh, and all over you'll see tanks or huevas, I think they're called. They were built by...
Man, y'all, he's trying. He says vapor. It's called a vava, you know?
Vava.
Vava.
Veva.
Va.
Va. Now explain what is a Veva.
So that's a man-made, pretty much a lake, and they're all over Sri Lanka, man. Depending on the kingdom, you know, each and every single king, Parakrama Bahu, I think.
That's what I have written down. Yep,
Yep.
and he built the largest one, the Parakrama
Yeah, he's
Samudra.
Yes, Parakrama Samudra. Damn!
Oh yeah, and fun fact, under that king, Sri Lanka actually for short periods of time actually kind of took over parts of South India and what is now Myanmar. But
Yes.
it wasn't exactly colonizing, it was kind of more like this. We are best friends, yeah! I am the new king and I'm gonna tax the out of my own people and kill trading envoys from Sri Lanka.
Yeah, we can't have that, so... Okay, so your old king is dead, and we've been managing you guys for a while, but now we're gonna elect a new king. This is the new king!
Hey Sri Lanka, the Chola Empire is like really attacking us hard. A little help?
Sure. Well, we defeated the enemy, but your king is dead. I guess we'll manage things here until we can find a new king for you. Okay, I found you a new king.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? It's kind of like they could have colonized Myanmar and South India, but we're like, it's easier if we just like raise up a king that would be compliant with our side.
In any case, Sri Lanka has so many projects going on. Colombo has the international financial city. And in the south, you have the controversial Hambantota Harbor, the second largest port in the country, which is leased out
Oh,
to China
really?
for 99 years.
We've discussed this before, but in case you missed it, basically, often my Indian subscribers kind of describe the scenario like this.
Oh, hey, Pakistan.
Hey, India.
What do you have there?
Oh, I'm building a port on Gwadar.
Oh, cool. It's pretty big.
Yeah, it's being funded by the Chinese.
Oh, what have you got there, Myanmar?
I am building a port and an oil line in Kakapyu.
Cool.
Oh, and it's also being financed by the Chinese for the Belt Road Initiative.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
How about you, Bangladesh? Wait, don't tell me.
Oh, you mean Sonadia Port? No, I scrapped that plan with China a long time ago.
Oh,
Instead, I'm going for Matabari Port. Oh, because it's funded by the Japanese. Because Chittagong was already taken by the Chinese.
what?
By the way, guys, this is my buddy.
Oh, wow.
Brazil.
Hi, guys.
So yeah, when Sri Lanka is also in that game, India is kind of like, yeah. But moving on.
Sri Lanka is a land full of mystic sites. They have 8 UNESCO heritage sites, right? 6 man-made.
Whoa,
and
look at
natural
those.
ones.
Yeah. That candy looks cool.
The,
Yeah.
Here's Antoinette explaining a few more extra sites that you could check out in Sri Lanka.
Hi guys, I'm Antoinette, coming to you from Quebec, Canada. Alright, there are so many temples and ruins. Some of the most notable
Whoa,
would be
look at the
Buddha
Golden
Temple
Temple.
in Kandy, Sima Maleka Temple in Bear Lake, Hindu
Wow.
temples in Jaffna and Trincomalee, like the Nalur Kandaswamy Kapil Temple, and the Rittigala Buddhist Monastery ruins. You have other places such as the Commonwealth War Cemetery in Kandy, the National Museum of Colombo, the Ella Tea Plantation,
Ooh, that's
Whoa.
cool.
in Colombo, St. Lucia's Cathedral, the Nine Arch Bridge, the beaches in
Whoa,
Padua
wait.
and Tanda, the giant
Go back.
tree-
Yeah.
Nine Arch Bridge.
the oldest known plant
Hit it,
tree
hit
in
it.
the world.
That's cool.
Yeah, Golden Temple. Yeah, did you see that bridge?
The Lotus
Wait.
Tower in Colombo.
Are you gonna
St.
pause
Lucia's
it?
Yeah.
Cathedral, the Nine Arch Bridge.
Here.
Look at that.
Wow, Nine Arch Bridge.
Oh my gosh.
That's a high up bridge.
Yeah.
Wow.
The beaches in Hikkaduwa and Tanda. The giant tree Mahagodi, the oldest known planted tree in the world. Adam's Peak, which
Really?
has the product or the sacred footprint. Thank you so much, and I hope you get the chance to visit Sri Lanka one day.
And of course, it is said Sri Lanka has the highest waterfall density in the world. Baker's Waterfall.
Wow.
Whoa.
And just to name you a few.
And that brings us to the next segment, the...
Looks nice there.
Sweet. Yeah.
Island on Earth, baby. In a tropical climate, Sri Lanka can hold its ground in maintaining a unique biosphere.
Yes, and one thing you'll notice, though, is that the element of water is a constant theme for almost everything in Sri Lanka.
For one, being situated in the center of the Indian plate gives them the lucky advantage of not dealing with any earthquakes or volcanoes, and also, the country has somewhere around 60 main offshore islands, the largest being Manar Island, which connects to the Ramsetu Bridge. The islands go all the way off to Kachativu Island,
Oh,
the
wow.
westernmost point of the country. From there, the country has a unique topographical layout. There are 40 low-lying lagoons and mangrove systems
Whoa,
covering much
look
of
at
the
that.
coast at about 7,000
On the right there.
Yeah.
in area. This is known as the coastal belt, aka the lowest parts of the country. The largest system in the north on the Jaffna Peninsula with the Jaffna Lagoon that extends into the Palk Bay. Now, as mentioned, many of the inland bodies of water are man-made, and the largest being the dual complex Kalabalau Reservoir found in the
That's
center of the
huge.
country.
Yeah.
It was actually built by King Datusena in the 5th century AD. From there inland, you reach the plains, which make up the majority of the country's surface area, ranging from about 30 to 200 meters above sea level. This is where the majority of the nation's agriculture and forests are situated and are fed by 103 rivers, the longest one being the Mahaweli, which flows over 200 miles or 335 kilometers from the highest region of the country,
Wow.
the Central Highlands, all the way down to Kodiyar Bay near the city of Trincomalee.
That's like across the
Central
whole-
Highlands is found in the
200-mile river.
Yeah.
which are also in themselves a protected World Heritage Site, is also where you can find the tallest peak, Piduru Talagala, at over 2,500 meters above
Whoa.
sea level. And finally, due to the topographic layout of Sri Lanka, the country has two climate zones. The plains and valleys of the north, northwest, and southeast are known as the dry zones, classified as tropical savannas with shrub forests, bushes, and even cacti in some of the driest areas. Yet in the highlands and valleys of the southwest, you have the wet zones that receive nearly twice as much rainfall annually, usually in the monsoon season from October to January.
Speaking of water though, Sri Lanka is heavily powered by water, as in over 1/5 of the
Whoa,
country
look at those
is powered by
bridges.
Yeah.
dams and hydropower.
That's a huge
Economically
dam.
speaking, Sri Lanka has always been a major trading hub, once being the crown jewel of the spice trade, and with the highest literacy rate in South Asia at somewhere around 95%,
Yeah.
they have top-notch labor force.
Yo, that's why we are hard workers. Tea and textiles usually come to mind when discussing resources and production. Sri Lanka is currently the 4th largest tea producer and largest
Wow.
tea exporter in the world, beating out Kenya and their most famous domestic brand Dilma. I got Dilma at the house. I had Dilma before I came. Now that kind of came out. And the country has about 900 apparel factories, exporting mainly to Europe and the USA for companies like Victoria's Secret, Liz Claiborne, and even Tommy Hilfiger.
In addition, their mining sector is world-renowned. They even have the world's largest blue sapphire, the Star of Adam. So many colors within this country, and one thing that's even more colorful is the wildlife. And with that, here is Gary Harlow with wildlife.
Blimey!
Cool.
Puppy right here. The breed is bird. Now, it's no surprise that a tropical island like Sri Lanka, nearly 1/5 of all flora and fauna are endemic, like the national tree Ceylon ironwood. The country has over 25 national parks, many with their own specialty. Like Delft Island is one of the only few places in the world with wild ponies. Don't ride the ponies.
Wild
One is
ponies?
Wow.
Wupatu and Yala. In these parks lie some of the most fascinating mammal species, like the purple-faced
Oh.
Sri Lankan sloth bear. the
A
grizzled
sloth
giant
bear?
Whoa.
And the two
You
animals
see that squirrel?
Yeah.
sometimes considered national
Yeah, hit that. Go back.
Yeah, that
parks
squirrel.
lie some of the most fascinating mammal species, like the purple-faced Lankan,
Look at
Sri
that.
Lankan sloth bear,
Wow.
the grizzled
Look at that.
Look at that. He has like red ears.
Oh my god.
And
giant squirrel, and the two animals that are sometimes considered national
Wow.
animals, the Sri Lankan elephant and the leopard. In fact, Sri Lanka is the largest elephant density in South Asia and has
Oh my
the
gosh.
largest elephant orphanage in the world at Pinawala. Birds are very prevalent here too. Some consider the Sri Lankan
that looks like a rooster.
Yeah.
Jungle fowl.
jungle fowl the national bird. And finally, the south coast of Sri Lanka is famous for being the best spot to not only see blue whales, but if you're daring enough, you can actually swim with them. And speaking of swimming with whales, I gotta catch a wave and surf on out of here. This is how you surf in Sri Lanka.
Thank you, Gary.
Yes, whales, the ocean. Once again, the element of water. You've probably seen those images of skilled fishermen.
I've never seen that.
I've never seen that.
Wow. They're fishing from up there.
Wow.
Maybe just to check everything out.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Geographic, right? Yep. That's a Sri Lanka.
Oh, and speaking of seafood,
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me on. I am so excited to be here to talk about one of my favorite topics, Sri Lankan food. So seafood plays a huge role.
Ooh,
in
that looks
cuisine.
good.
Yeah.
In addition, did you know that cinnamon actually originated in Sri Lanka? And no shocker, we are the #1 export of cinnamon around the world. There's about 10 different varieties, and all of them slightly different in profile, but so good. So I want to get to the list of foods, starting with jaggery and lump rice and hoppers and string hoppers.
Wow.
But
I've never seen any of this
Me
stuff.
neither.
Wow. That looks pretty good.
Wow.
and puttu and coconut milk rice, more affectionately known as kiribat, with some
Oh,
spicy
that sounds
sambal
good.
and some hot milk tea in the mornings is the perfect breakfast item. Egg kotroti or vegetable kotroti, and my
We need to try some Sri Lankan
Yeah.
food.
kotroti. So good. We have the cashew curry, we have the breadfruit curry, we have Jaffna style.
I've never had curry.
Also known
Have
as
you?
crab
Me either.
curry. Sri Lanka is also known
Whoa.
as king coconut, but what it's really used to make is a popular coconut liquor. So excited to be on, so excited to be sharing such an amazing topic with you all, and thanks so much for having me. Have a good one.
Oh, Sri Lankan crab curry. You know.
now you guys know me. I love jackfruit. You guys in the Bangladeshis do it really well.
Oh yeah, man.
Well, clearly Sri Lankans are definitely great cooks, and there's a lot of other great things too that Sri Lankans are known for. Which brings us to the next part,
Ooh.
Ooh, nice.
Nice. Ooh, I'm liking this so far.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. The different animals, the dishes.
Yeah, squirrel.
Yeah. Yeah. Demographics.
So I asked you guys, what does it mean to be Sri Lankan? And here's some things you guys, the Sri Lankan geographers, have said.
Sri Lankans are very hardworking people. We faced many bad situations in this country. Also, we do not hesitate to help each other when there is a bad
Look at all the
situation
water.
in our
Wow.
country.
Being Sri Lankan is a blessing. We come from such a small island country full of diversity and many ethnic groups. And being Sri Lankan, well, myself, Sri Lankan Muslim, we've been here for so many years, so many centuries. I hope people learn from this video that Sri Lanka is the best place in the world.
I think that the real beauty of Sri Lanka lies within our multicultural, our multi-religious, and our multi-ethnic communities. That's what makes Sri Lanka a special country.
Being of Sri Lankan Tamil descent, it means being proud and grateful to my mother, my father, my grandparents, and my aunts and uncles for protecting me and my cousins from the horrors of the Civil War that raged on for decades, due to their perseverance, and that's something that I will carry for the rest of my life.
So, Janelle, in your
Wow.
Sri Lankan.
It is to be able to uphold all the values and everything that my parents have taught me. So there's tiny little nuances. There's like we would actually go down on our knees and touch the feet of my parents, and we would bow them. Depends on where you grew up. The culture gives you an identity.
Right, because there's a lot of different types of Sri Lankans.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yo, you could be Sri Lankan.
Who knows?
If you're Sri Lankan, can he be Sri Lankan?
I'll just put this on.
Yo, I used to wear this, and we eat with our hands too. We don't use fork and spoon.
Oh no, yeah, that's the best way. You gotta feel the food.
Hey! See, I told you he could be Sri Lankan.
Anyway, with that, let's go to the graph.
First of all, the country has a population of about 22 million people, and they are the oldest democracy in Asia since 1948. The country is primarily made up of the Sinhala at somewhere around 75%, whereas the majority of the rest of the population is made up primarily of Tamils divided into 3 groups: Sri Lankan Tamils at a little over 11%, the Moors at about 9%, and the Indian Tamils at about 4%. From there, the small remaining populace is made up of various people groups like the Burghers, the Malays, the Vedas, Chinese, and so on.
Burgers?
Yeah, we'll talk about the burgers later. They use the Sri Lankan rupee as their currency. They use the types D.
So wait, he just said Sri Lankan rupee. I know that there's rupees in India.
Oh, yeah.
Is there a difference? Is there an Indian rupee and a Sri Lankan rupee?
Let's see. Yeah, where is it?
They use the Sri Lankan.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, I don't know if
I
that's.
don't know. It's really pretty. I like
Yeah.
the bird on it.
In rupee as their currency, they use the types D, G, and M plug outlets. And
Whoa. We haven't seen those yet.
No.
Now, of course, due to the demographic structure, Sinhala, an Indo-Aryan language, and Tamil, a Dravidian language, two completely unintelligible languages, are co-official in Sri Lanka.
Wow, look at that writing. Oh, I
Wait.
paused it at the wrong time.
All good.
Of course, due to the demographic structure, Sinhala, an Indo-Aryan language, and Tamil, a Dravidian language,
This one.
Right there.
Yeah, wow.
That's so intricate.
Yeah. So
many
neat.
Yeah, so
Really neat.
looking. Cool.
The unintelligible languages are co-official in Sri Lanka.
However, the prevalence of each one is concentrated in their respective regions. Tamil mostly in the north and northeast, and Sinhala in the center, southeast and west coast, baby.
Nonetheless, official documents must be available in both languages.
Yes.
And wow, they both have incredibly good-looking scripts. Just look at those curves.
I just said that.
Yeah.
Wow, indicators. Gotta love me some good Abagida.
Yeah, that was weird. But the point is, yes, the scripts look pretty cool.
English
Yeah.
is also
Yeah.
a nationally recognized language. Now, not everybody can still speak fluent English, but I'll tell you a few things that they know for sure, though. They know Bob Marley, right? They know 50 Cent. They know Coca-Cola.
That's all they need.
That's all they need.
That's all you need.
The thing is, like, I've been to houses where, they don't speak a word of English.
But they memorize the whole rap.
But they know the raps. I'm like, you're really spitting. But you can't even speak a word of English. But, like, they know Peter Andre, Mysterious Girl. Yo, they know all of it. I'm like, how?
You give a kid a song, you can absorb it.
I suppose my people just soak. Like, they're like a sponge. I mean, woo!
In any case, prior to the British, the Portuguese, Dutch, and almost French all took a jab at trying to control Sri Lanka. This is also partially why you see so many Sri Lankans with Western names and last names, especially with Portuguese. In fact, the three most common last names in Sri Lanka are Pereira, Fernando, and De Silva.
Yeah, man, that's so funny because as I was growing up, I read books and there was Fernandos and Pereiras and De Silvas. I'm like,
But it's
why
Sri
you look
Lanka.
like me?
Yeah.
What's this?
Now, faith-wise, the majority of Sri Lankans, almost exclusively to the Sinhala group, are Buddhist, belonging to the Theravada branch. In fact, today Sri Lankan Sinhalese are the only non-racially East Asian Buddhist majority ethnic group in the modern world. Basically, a country of brown Buddhists. It was actually brought in over 2,000 years ago by the missionary Mahinda from the Ashoka Empire and mentioned in the Tripitaka. Sri Lanka has the longest continuous history of Buddhism out of any predominantly Buddhist nation on earth.
Oh,
How did you
wow.
grow up? What are you? So I was born and raised a Catholic, and at some point in time,
But you're Sinhalese, right?
yes, I'm 100% Sinhalese, but I have tons of Buddhist friends, tons of Tamil friends, tons of Muslims, right? Nobody was trying to impose their will on me.
You guys are just Sri Lankans.
That's exactly how I see it too.
And by the way, Buddhism, they take it seriously in the country. It's not a gimmick. What's the one worst thing you can do while visiting Sri Lanka?
Oh, hello, young tourists. How are you enjoying Sri Lanka?
I just love the Buddha. I took all these pictures in front of Buddha, and I want to buy a Buddha for my living room. Best thing, I have this little Buddha tattoo, and I just love that he's so
Okay,
jolly.
I'm calling the police.
If you have a tattoo of Buddha, either get a laser removal or never show it if visiting Sri Lanka. It's considered incredibly offensive and can literally get you in trouble.
Hinduism, though, actually predates Buddhism in Sri Lanka, and the Hindu community is almost exclusively tied to the Tamil group. Specifically, Shaivism, which is the branch that predominantly worships Shiva and venerates Shiva devotees like Ravana. That's kind of the story of Ravana is like a big deal in Sri Lanka, apparently.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Apart from the Hindus and the Buddhists, there's also the Muslim minority. 90% of whom are Tamil-speaking people called the Moors.
Although if you ask them, some may or may not actually identify as being ethnically Tamil. It's confusing, but yeah.
There is also a noticeable Christian community.
Some sociologists speculate that Christianity may actually have predated colonialism. It's an interesting theory.
There are about 40,000 people. You have the Burghers. There are the people that are essentially the Euro-Asian descendants mixed between Europeans
The
and
burgers.
They developed
Wow.
a unique fusion culture that mixes Europe with South Asia.
And finally, you have the indigenous Vedas, only numbering today at about 6,000 people. They are considered
Wow.
the original inhabitants of Sri Lanka, predating anyone.
Not
Wow.
traditionally,
Wow,
they follow
yeah.
a form of animism, and only about 300 people speak the Veda language today. In
300
That's
people?
it?
You'll notice.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Only 6,000.
Oh my gosh, that's
Oh my
incredible.
gosh, yeah.
It's a small number.
Yeah. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, this is a great one.
Yeah.
We Sri Lankans, we have really long names. For example, one of the most famous athlete, Varnakula Surya.
Oh my gosh.
That's one name.
That's a whole name.
Oh, wow.
Ushant Joseph Chaminda Vas. The reason we have really long names, the king used to give a title, the occupation of your ancestors, where you're coming from, which part in Sri Lanka.
Wow.
Occupation of your ancestors?
And where you're coming from.
Has a lot of backstory. Part of that backstory involves
That's
the obvious
interesting.
dichotomy between the Sinhalese and the Tamil people groups. This is probably the biggest elephant in the room that cannot be avoided. Yes, there was a civil war between the two. It dates back to 1983. So to make a long story short, it goes that the Tamils wanted a place of origin. So essentially, it basically boiled down to the government versus the Tamil Tigers. There was a move for a separate land for the Tamil minority. Over 100,000 people died or disappeared, and over 300,000
wow.
people
That's
were
terrible.
or internally displaced peoples. Now, when you ask like who started it or what, it all depends on who you ask, and there's always going to be a biased answer when it comes to that. You know, there's no
Totally right.
And you were there kind of during the whole
I
craziness.
was, and it's so crazy, man. My mom was pregnant with my brother one time, just to give you some contrast, and it was only a month after she stopped using the train, that was a bomb. Oh, that was such a small incident. These bombs were going on everywhere. I'm just glad it's over.
So post-war, how would you say, is there generally kind of like a
That's really scary.
feeling in Sri Lanka right now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's flooded with foreigners, and we obviously need the international revenue coming in.
Right.
We come from a place where they have a 2,000-year-old written history.
You can't hide that.
That's true.
Well, that was quite a discussion. So much has happened, and they just want to move forward as best they can. And one way they move forward is with sports. And with that, here's Art with the sports part.
Sweet.
Whoa, this is a cricket ball, and guess what? We're going to talk about it. Now, most textbook sources will tell you that the national sport is volleyball, and yes, technically it is. However, cricket is often considered the most celebrated sport. There have been a lot of records in cricket, and even have the highest team score in Test cricket at 952. I'm going to pretend like I actually know what that means. They won the World Cricket Cup in 1996, making it the only Sri Lanka sport that has ever been crowned a world champion. They even have their own version of March Madness, in which parades and performances dedicated to the opening cricket matches of college cricket season.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Tailgating, after parties, drunken fights between fans and dancing. It's that crazy. See, you don't see that kind of treatment with volleyball in Sri Lanka. Otherwise, of course, cricket isn't the only thing going on in Sri Lanka. We have rugby, netball, in Australia.
Netball?
What is netball?
What is net?
I'm guessing basketball.
Oh, I would think netball would be volleyball.
It looked like they were going up for like a slam dunk.
Yeah. Here, let's see.
Otherwise, of course, cricket isn't the only thing going on in Sri Lanka. We have rugby, netball.
Right there.
Netball. Oh yeah, it could be basketball.
Kinda.
But it looks like a volleyball type ball.
Yeah, it's true.
Let us know in the comments.
It looks
what is
like they're going up for like a slam dunk though.
Yeah, it does.
Interesting.
I don't know.
In Australian rules football, which are all growing in a lot of popularity. Their women's netball team.
Australian rules.
Netball.
4 times. 4 times. Everyone in the country knows this lady, known as the Asian Black Mare, who won the only Olympic medal for the country.
Technically, there was another medal when they were under British Sri Lanka.
They have 2 native styles of martial arts, Jina D, which is like Kung Fu, but more focused on grappling, and Ang Ampora, which is body combat and weaponry style that uses things like knives, swords, and whip blade. And
Whoa!
not so much.
Did you say whip blades?
Yeah.
Activity. Sri Lankans are really good at tabletop game Karam. Strangely enough, there's
Karam?
really a World Cup.
I've never heard of that.
That looks sweet.
That does look cool. Like a mix between checkers and something else.
This game in Sri Lanka usually dominates and consistently holds a world champion title in both men and women's divisions.
Wow.
They even hold the dog division as well. He wants
watching that ball.
Alright, me and Tar trying to go play some cricket.
Thank you, Art. We have this pillow fight, which is like pillow fight. Pillow fight, so it's you're sitting on a log, and you just knock each other off.
That's awesome.
And yeah, there's so much other stuff going on with Sri Lanka's culture. Here to explain a little bit more, here is Hannah.
Random Hannah.
Bring back. Sri Lanka's origins are documented in the Mahavamsa, the Great Chronicle, and Kulavamsa, the Lesser Chronicle, with the first first king in the 5th century BC to the British occupation in 1825. Within that time, it's also speculated that Sri Lanka might have the world's first hospital. And of course, with religious festivals and celebrations, Sri Lanka is actually the country with the second most public holidays after
26 holidays.
Moon or Poya.
I wonder if you, like, since it's a public holiday, you get work off. That's 26 days or more off.
Yeah.
Wow.
Holiday. Each full moon represents a different story for Buddha. For the Hindu community, there are tons of distinct festivals and celebrations too. The most notable one probably being the Kavadi or burden dance. Viewer discretion advised. This is a ceremonial sacrifice and offering practiced by Hindu devotees of Lord Murugan, the god of war, and the goddess Kali, the destroyer. Worshippers honor the deities by enduring pain in a variety of ways, including extreme body piercings and suspensions by hooks penetrating.
Oh my gosh.
If you're into art, you'll be pleased to find tons of Kandian-era murals dating back to the 15th century. And just because it's kind of my thing,
yeah.
Cinematic backstory. Dating back to the first Sinhalese film in 1947, Sri Lanka has seen its moments in the entertainment industry. Sri Lanka was also the setting for many Hollywood blockbusters, like The Bridge Over River Kwai and Indiana Jones' Temple of Doom. But if you guys want to learn more about film and culture and history through film of Sri Lanka, go follow the Filmography Now YouTube channel.
Filmography Now.
It has a spin-off, and in these films is a lot of historical music. And with that, is Keith even here? I really hope he's not.
One thing is for sure, Sri Lanka loves drums. Everything from the Udeki drum to the demon drum. The country is known for having 3 unique dance styles: the low country dance, the devil dance, and the Kandy style. There was a period of time when African slaves came over and played a major role in creating Bela.
Baila. It's okay, Keith. Just keep going.
This is probably the most popular music style in Sri Lanka, and it's played at everything from special occasions, weddings. This dude is probably the most well-known guy who helped create Bela.
Wally.
From there, Sri Lanka evolved its music industry into the 20th century and the 21st century. Sri Lankan artists and bands arose through the times from radio. There will be a list right here. Presenteth list. Yes, even English female rapper MIA is Sri Lankan.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. If you're Sri Lankan, let us know in the section down below what you think should be included in what we should know about Sri Lankan music. By the way, Hannah's new YouTube channel, Filmography Now, it's kind of cool. You should probably go check it out, even though I hate Hannah.
Thank you, Keith. This is my Tupac of Sri Lanka. That's Clarence Vijayvardhan. He is considered the king of Sri Lankan pop music. And then you got the Amaradevas, Nanda Malini. I'm telling y'all, man, we still haven't even tapped into
they looked cool.
Wow.
of the total potential of our music.
As you can see, Sri Lanka has a lot to show the world with their culture and tradition. And with that, let's see how the rest of the world responds to Sri Lanka's colors in our final segment,
Friend Zone. Nice.
Sweet.
I like all the new stuff they added.
Yeah, me too. And a lot of new people too.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Sri Lanka's history was already intertwined with international interaction.
You don't get the nickname the Pearl of the Indian Ocean by accident.
For one, Sri Lanka has stated multiple times that it takes specific non-aligned foreign policies and does not take sides with major world powers and pursues friendship with all. On that note, much of the government might say China is close due to the many loans and investments that have been given to them. However, like many other small developing nations, Sri Lankans are keeping a close eye on these acts. Many Sri Lankans move to Australia for studies and work, especially in Melbourne, which has the largest Sri Lankan community out of any city in Australia. Indonesia and Singapore offer visa-free visits to Sri Lankans, and many of the Tamil Sri Lankans have family with the Tamil community in Singapore. Now, you would think that, as their closest neighbor, relations with India would be super close, but it's a little complicated. It's more like a love-hate relationship that they've had for thousands of years. Yes, in a sense, both the Sinhalese and Tamils have roots in India, and yes, they owe the introduction of Buddhism to India via the Ashoka Empire, and yes, India tried to help sort out the civil war, even though Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated by the Tamil Tigers on on the process. Nonetheless, much of the diplomacy is rooted in aid that India provides, and of course Sri Lankans love things like Bollywood films and Indian cultural imports. They just, really hate the Indian cricket team. Pakistan has always been a closer ally, as Sri Lanka kind of acted like a transit point between West and East Pakistan, which is now Bangladesh, during the Indo-Pak wars of the 60s and 70s, as Indian airspace was closed to them. Pakistan, in return, has supplied much of Sri Lanka's armed forces with military equipment and has helped them during Civil War times. In the end, though, interestingly enough, one country that seems to pop out in many Sri Lankans' minds when asked which country is closest to them would be the Maldives. As island nations in the Indian Ocean heavily dependent on maritime trade and culture, the two instantly click on almost any diplomatic level. The heads of states have visited each other to discuss bilateral relations and interests. The Maldivian Defense Force is trained by Sri Lanka's military. Over half of Maldives' exports go to Sri Lanka. Many Maldivian tour operators are located in Sri Lanka with travel packages, including both countries, and they even share an underwater fiber optic cable for joint telecommunication service. Overall, these two countries work together very well and understand each other probably better than anyone else.
All right, and in conclusion,
underwater fiber optics.
I'm out.
So something that I want y'all to know, man, our bounce back game is super strong. People try to take over our country thousands of years ago. And then we had civil war going on. The tsunami hit. We bounced back from that too. And it's depicted in so many areas of who we are. We never stood down. We always rose.
Well said, Janelle. I love that. All right, and with that, what's the next country, Janelle?
We're going to talk about Sudan, baby.
Next one coming up.
Get ready.
Sweet.
Nice.
Nice. That was great.
Yeah, it was a great one.
Yeah, I'm glad they had Janelle in there
Yeah.
to speak more about it.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, Sri Lanka. Wow.
There's a lot of good stuff in there.
Yes, yeah.
There was a ton of stuff in this one.
Yeah, that was a really well-made video.
Like when they were talking about all the ports. Remember all that?
Yeah.
Like all this.
Yeah.
All these ports.
Right.
What else?
The waterfalls. That was pretty
the
cool.
waterfalls, yeah.
Yeah. Cinnamon. I didn't...
Did you... Oh, yeah. Did you, like...
There were, like, 10 different things.
Yeah, I didn't recognize, like, any of those.
No.
They're, like, right after this.
Yeah.
There was one over there. I'm like, that's that.
Right
I'm
here.
like, that's cinnamon?
Yeah.
Like, I kind of recognize, like, those two in the top right.
10 varieties. Wow.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. The animals, the food looked amazing.
Oh, yeah, it did. The food looked
when she
really
said,
good.
like, the warm milk tea.
Yeah, this right here.
Yeah. Oh, that looks so good. And even... Oh,
the crab, the Cajun
we should
crab.
try curry sometime.
Yeah, king coconut.
Yeah, king coconut. Yeah, wow. A lot of cool things.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff.
Thank you so much for suggesting this video. We want to learn even more about Sri Lanka, so let us know in the comments down below what videos we need to check out next. And what was your favorite part of this video?
Yeah, let us know in the comments down below. And thank you so much for watching this video. And if it's your first time coming across our channel, checking out one of our videos, please give us a quick subscribe.
Hit that notification bell to stay up to date because we come out with videos every single day. And we can't wait to see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
See ya.